Hey, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. I don't care about the MCU. I mean, I cared about Sam Raimi's Doctor Strange because Sam Raimi. I care about James Gunn's Guardians 3 because James Gunn. I'm cautiously terrified about Disney's Daredevil continuation. But other than that, I don't care about the MCU. Which is crazy, man, because I used to care. I used to care so much. So much that something they made could break me. Something they made, something they did make, made me. Made me feel, made me cry, made me hopeful, made me believe. But now, I don't believe. I used to be the kid who dragged his parents, his friends to midnight showings. I used to wait in the lines. I used to talk rumors, talk passionately, hopefully about where I'd like to see these characters go. But then they went. And now I stopped dragging, stopped talking, stopped going. I used to care. Maybe this isn't about how to save something. Maybe this is about how to care for something again. Because I want to. I really want to care about the MCU. But the MCU is making that pretty f***ing difficult. But before we take a swim through the Disney Sea, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Raycon. These bad boys give me 8 hours of playtime, a 32-hour battery life by using this stylish charging case, offering you great premium quality at half the price of other leading wireless earbuds. It's no wonder Raycon's everyday earbuds have over 50,000 5-star reviews. I can sleep easy knowing that my Raycons are sweat and water resistant. They are built to withstand my wacky antics, like accidentally leaving them in my pocket during laundry day, or dropping them into a puddle on a jog, or falling into the toilet while I'm using it. Seriously though, I really appreciate how my Raycons fit with the curvature of my ear. They will not budge, they don't hurt after listening for extended periods of time, and you can lay your head down on a pillow and rest like a king without any discomfort. Raycon's everyday earbuds look, feel, and sound better than ever, so check them out. Click the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/HiTop and get 15% off your Raycon purchase. Thanks, guys. Now, just like the other 2 times we did this, before I tell you what I think needs to change, what do you think needs to change? I know that a ton of you are just as disillusioned as I am, and I would love to hear your thoughts. What would you do to save the MCU? Comment below and let me know, please. Step 1. Not every movie needs to be the biggest thing. They just need to mean something. Let's wind the clocks back a decade. Joss Whedon...
No! God, please, no! No! No!
...has the impossible task of mixing together the characters, the tones, the styles of 4 distinct filmmakers. Because you have to remember that all those Phase 1 movies were very distinct, very different. Iron Man was punk. Hulk was a grim action thriller. Thor was pure Shakespeare. And Captain America was classical, nostalgic, sincere. Joss had to mix them together into a bowl of sweets, adding his own personal flair and then baking a billion-dollar treat. Somehow, he does it. Somehow, what Favreau did with Tony, what Branagh did with Thor, what Johnston did with Steve, what Leterrier tried to do with Hulk, somehow that DNA is spliced, the foundation built upon in a way that works without tearing down what made us fall in love with these characters. The heroes save the day, the Avengers end up changing the world, and the characters all go their separate ways. How do we know they'll come back?
Because we'll need them to.
But then something happens, slowly but surely. Every single MCU movie starts to become a mini Avengers, trying to inject all the Whedonisms, the good and the hedonisms into every single film. Misunderstanding that the thrill of the first Avengers film wasn't the quips, the bathos, but was the character writing. The joy of seeing these different icons from different parts of the shared universe come together to save, to protect, to avenge. It works because they go their separate ways at the end. It works because we know that one day, when we need them most, they will reunite. Team-up movies mean less and less when every solo film has characters from other parts of the galaxy, the multiverse, just there to tell some jokes to get your money, fooling you into believing that this is essential world-altering, when all it is is clickbait. Professor X shows up to get his neck snapped. Captain Carter shows up to validate those who watched What If. A fan cast gets turned into spaghetti. All in service of making every single film, every trailer feel universe-altering, feel like this is the next Avengers, the next big thing. But when everything is big, there isn't enough time to focus on the small. When everything is loud, gigantic, there isn't enough time to sit with something as tender as a feeling. The Illuminati should not be forced to fit into a story about Stephen Strange trying to be happy. The Guardians should not be forced to fit into a story about Thor learning to love even though it hurts. The Kingpin does not need to be in Hawkeye. Trevor Slattery does not need to be in Shang-Chi. Recognizable faces don't need to detract from the central hero's face. Cameos should not be the main appeal, man, and the fact that they are becoming that shows how substanceless, how meaningless this whole thing is starting to feel. Lost souls coming together should be meaningful. It can be, it was, but it doesn't need to carry, to overshadow the individual. Character studies are far more interesting than continuous cameos. You built your franchise on the individual Iron Man, the sincere solo Steve Rogers. If it's all so meaningful to the grand phase, to the multiverse Marvel universe, why are the characters and their individual struggles starting to feel so meaningless? Step 2. Comedy comes from truth. And sometimes the truth isn't funny. You've heard this complaint a billion times and you will hear it a billion more. Not every single one of these movies needs to be a comedy. Not every scene needs a punchline. Not every character needs to act like a man-child, a frat bro. Not every superhero has to have the mouth of Tony Stark. It isn't genuine. Sometimes you can have 20 minutes of your movie not be funny. Because sometimes life isn't funny. The best comedy, to me, comes from a place of truth. You can laugh at a character, laugh with them in their darkest of moments. You can cry at the happiest of achievements. Emotion is not binary. Sometimes it's okay to be serious. Sure, being a superhero is absurd. Running around believing you can save the day in a colorful costume can be ridiculous, but it should not always be a joke to the one wearing it. If our heroes poke fun at themselves constantly during the most catastrophic of incidents, in the darkest of hells, how are we supposed to believe in them? Believe in their ability to save us? The snap, the blip is treated more often than not as a meme, a whoops, a joke. So I guess the audience has to think it's a joke. The Avengers sure did not take it as a joke. Tony Stark did not die thinking Thanos' actions were a meme. Comedy can be used to enhance the drama. It can come from a place of sincerity. Certain characters will make light of the horrible situations they are placed in, but not at the expense of the lives they have lost, the trauma they have endured, the selflessness they continue to display. If the greatest of human tragedies are humorous to the heroes who tried to stop them, how heroic are they really? If they view what they do with a nonchalant ridiculousness, why should I believe in them? If the films don't trust us to feel genuine emotion, why should I feel at all? Step 3. Let go. Phases, team-ups, sagas, spin-offs, all in service of keeping the brand alive, all at the expense of the creatives behind them. Visual effects artists work to the bone, directors forced to hit a release date, writers forced to turn in scripts fast. Making movies should not be an assembly line. The decline of the visual quality, the craftsmanship behind the camera has become noticeable, not just to the film snobs, the wannabes like myself, not just to the Martin Scorseses, but to everyone. These movies used to look like movies. Compare any shot from Phase 1 to any shot from Phase 4. The Disney Plus shows, for a minute there, looked and felt more like movies than the last decade or so of their actual films. This is unacceptable, dude. I don't need to tell you that. Film is a visual medium. The visual language used can be so meaningful, so impactful, so powerful. You have great directors working on these movies. You have fantastic cinematographers, editors, visual effects teams working on these movies. But all their work, their art is rushed. Their art is thrown into Mickey's assembly line filled with overworked and underpaid people who are tired of it. Why do this? What's the benefit? Money? You have that. A fan base? You have that. And you're alienating a large chunk of them who are starting to want more. Expect more. Slow down. You're already the kings of the castle. You got there by taking chances and carefully crafting films that felt grand, cinematic, iconic, heroic. Disney has completely taken over the film industry, killing independent cinemas and creators. They are the overlord. And they have decided that with all the cash they possess, that for some horribly bleak reason, it makes more financial sense for them to produce a bunch of subpar, bland-looking, rushed products than take the time to make a few truly special films. And the joke of it all is that they don't have to look like they were shot in a green screen spa. They don't have to be edited by machines. Your scripts don't have to contain a joke every 2 pages, a cameo every 5. Your filmmakers, your films don't have to play by the rules. We are sick of the rules, man. The rules look like gray concrete, unintelligible, purposelessness muck. Your rules hurt the artist working on them. Your first success was made by breaking all the rules. Let go, and let your characters grow. The thing that has always made the MCU work, the thing that is keeping the heart of the franchise beating, the reason we tend to ignore the visuals, the overbearing humor, the many recent misfires, that thing is simple. The characters. Tony, Steve, Natasha, T'Challa, Thor, Bruce, Clint, Steven, Wanda, Nick, Peter, Rocket, Matt, and the countless heroes that fill this universe. They are the key. They always have been. But I'm afraid that Marvel is losing sight of that. I'm terrified that these characters are going to be stuck endlessly repeating the same lessons again and again, or even worse, being written so vastly different between films, between shows, that we lose sight of who they were to begin with. This is a tricky one because in a narrative you want your protagonist to change by the end. But when you have to have them appear in 8 other movies, 8 other connected narratives, they are destined to repeat their cycle of growth. How many times are we going to have to see Thor learn humility, learn love? How many times will Peter Parker have to learn that with great power comes great responsibility before it sticks? Why did Bruce Banner go from reserved, intelligent, empathetic, tortured soul to goofy frat bro? Will the growth of Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes be undone before the next Avengers film? Will Matt Murdock start twerking with She-Hulk? Are these characters destined to have to learn the same lesson again and again? Is this the nature of comic books, of connected universes? I don't think it has to be. I think that having a clear path set for your characters, a clear plan of how they change, how they grow, how they learn is essential. Different writers are going to want to write these icons different ways. That's a given. But there needs to be tangible growth for each of these heroes, these people we have grown to love. In 20 years, nobody is going to be raving about these films as if they were the Citizen Kane of the era. But the impact these heroes can have will be discussed as if they were a teacher, a friend who got us through a tough time. That's important. That's real, man. That's real. And you have to let our friends grow. Let them stay grown. We have to witness that growth. But I'm afraid circular character arcs and a lack of character consistency are destroying what was once so fundamental to the ideology behind these films. The simple idea, the belief that Tony Stark can change. If he can, then they can. There's endless potential and endless possibility of Disney turning it around, of changing, saving the MCU. But things are looking pretty bleak, man. They are making art meant to offend no one, making art meant to challenge nothing. They are making art meant to appeal to, meant to please everyone. When you try to make everything for everyone, you end up losing part of your personality, your soul, the thing that made your art special in the first place. There is barely any magic left in the bottle. I don't think there is a way to save something that financially, culturally does not need saving. Nothing I said here today will stop the dedicated fans, the casual moviegoer, you, me, from seeing their films, from watching one of their 1,000 exports a year. The MCU has become a self-sustaining funhouse of quips, a hellish spa of overworked artists, a corporate cash cow cooked up into a fast food chain served to hungry customers. Some of these movies will be good. Some will feel like artistic statements, personal and moving tales of heroism. Some will capture the magic of those early years. Some will inspire. Some will mean something. But at this rate, in its current state, the MCU will continue to be $1 billion forgettable dream. A dream filled with cheering crowds, cashed paychecks, cameo circus shows, and wasted potential. I'll laugh, I'll chuckle, I'll smile, I'll clap. Maybe one day, I'll truly care again for something that used to be a part of my everything. Maybe one day, I'll wake up. Yo, thank you for watching. I would not be here without your support. Thank you to Loverboy Media for editing this video. Make sure to check out his channel and make sure to check out the teaser for our Jason Todd fan film, link down below. Have yourself a nice day.